Manifestation is all about energy and belief. But one of the most difficult things to grasp when starting the journey is that the 3D world, the physical reality we can see, touch, and experience, is just a reflection of our inner thoughts and beliefs. The truth is, the 3D world is temporary, and it doesn't define our future. The challenge, however, is learning how not to focus on it when things aren't going the way we want. In this video, I want to share a personal story of how I was able to manifest the relationship I desired, even when it seemed like things were falling apart in the 3D. I'll walk you through how I stopped focusing on the external world, what actions I took to shift my inner world, and how my manifestation came to life by doing so. There was a time when I was manifesting a relationship with someone I was deeply interested in. Let's call him Luke. At the start, everything seemed perfect. We were talking regularly, seeing each other, and it felt like we were building something really special. I was full of hope and positive expectation, believing that we were on the right path. I thought I was in control of my thoughts and energy, but then things started to slow down. Luke's communication became inconsistent. One day he'd text me all day, and the next day I wouldn't hear from him at all. I could feel the energy shift, and I started noticing little things that didn't sit well with me. He started posting pictures of himself with other people, seemingly living a full and happy life without me. I check his social media every day, overanalyzing everything. Why is he hanging out with them? Does this mean he doesn't care? Why isn't he texting me? Did I do something wrong? The more I focused on the 3D, his actions, his posts, his distance, the more anxious and unsettled I became. I was feeding the story that things were falling apart, and the 3D world reflected that energy. I would spiral, feeling like my desires were slipping further away. But after some reflection, I realized I was giving all my power to the 3D world. I was constantly looking for signs and validation from the outside, but I wasn't looking within. The truth is, I was allowing the 3D to dictate my emotions and actions. I wasn't trusting the process of manifestation. I wasn't focusing on the vision of us together, and I certainly wasn't trusting in myself and my worth. So, I decided to shift my focus. I stopped giving my energy to the external circumstances that were causing me to feel anxious. I stopped checking Luke's social media. I stopped texting him to see if he would respond. I simply stopped paying attention to the 3D. I knew that the 3D was a reflection of my past thoughts and beliefs, and it didn't represent my future. Instead of focusing on what was going wrong, I started focusing on what I wanted. I began affirming and visualizing my ideal reality with Luke, one where communication was abundant, where he was always interested in me, and where we were constantly growing closer. I affirmed daily that we were in a loving, committed relationship. I began affirming that Luke loved me and that he was showing up for me in the ways I desired. The key shift for me was realizing that the 3D world in all its forms, his posts, his actions, his words, wasn't a true reflection of the love and connection I desired. The 3D was simply an outdated version of reality, a snapshot of my past energy. And if I wanted to manifest my desires, I needed to stop reacting to what I saw and instead trust that my inner world, my thoughts, my beliefs, and my energy was shaping my reality. In this process, I had to work on myself. I worked on my self-concept, on how I saw myself, how I treated myself, and how I believed others should treat me. I affirmed that I was worthy of love, that I was deserving of Luke's attention, and that I was the best version of myself. I stopped seeking external validation. I started believing that I was already enough, with or without Luke. And let me tell you something powerful that happened. As I worked on my self-concept, my energy started shifting. I stopped needing him to show up in any particular way for me to feel good about myself. I stopped feeling insecure and started feeling empowered. I embraced my worth. I trusted that what I desired was already on its way, even if the 3D wasn't reflecting it yet. I shifted my focus to the vision of us together. I imagined us laughing, talking for hours, enjoying each other's company, and growing closer every day. I imagined Luke being deeply in love with me, thinking about me all the time, and showing me affection. I didn't focus on how or when it would happen, I just knew it would. I also stopped comparing myself to others. I realized that if Luke was my soulmate, he would choose me. No one else could take my place. I had to trust in the power of the connection we had, regardless of what was happening in the 3D world. Weeks passed, and at first, nothing changed in the 3D. But then things started to shift. Luke reached out to me, just a simple message asking how I was doing. We talked for hours that day, and as we spoke, the energy between us was different. There was no tension, no anxiety. It was just pure, flowing communication. Over the next few weeks, he reached out more and more, consistently texting and calling. The distance I had once felt seemed to disappear. What's even more incredible is that when we were together in person, his actions reflected the love and attention I had been affirming. He was more affectionate, more interested, and more open with his feelings. It was as if everything I had been manifesting had finally clicked into place. I had stopped focusing on the 3D and let the energy shift within me. And when I did, everything started aligning. This is the power of manifestation. The 3D world is just a reflection of your inner world, and when you stop reacting to it and focus on your desires, you start shifting the energy in your favor. Remember, the 3D is always temporary. It's just a snapshot of what you've been thinking and feeling. But when you focus on your desires, on your vision, and on your self-concept, you'll begin to see things shift. So the next time you find yourself obsessing over the 3D, remind yourself that it's just a reflection of your past thoughts. Trust that your manifestation is already unfolding, even if it doesn't look like it right now. Let go of the need for immediate results and trust in the process. Everything is working out for you. The more you focus on your inner world, the more the 3D will shift to reflect your true desires.